Jaja ma'am, have you got the message, ma'am?
Yes, sir, I
YouTube?
received it, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Now YouTube is live, ma'am.
YouTube link,
Yes, sir. Shall we
Refresh, ma'am.
start,
webinar
sir?
series, sir. Kasha.
Yes, ma'am. Ready to go, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Let's start with our today's session. A very happy evening to one and all present here. There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. With this quote, in this warm evening, to refresh and create an impact onto the minds, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Savita Engineering College, brings to you a webinar on immunity and metabolism in Ayurveda by Dr. G. Pavitra, Ayurvedic consultant, Maharishi Ayurveda Pratisthana, Shetpet. A glimpse of our college and department. Savita Engineering College, established in the year 2001, an autonomous institution which follows the Finland-based education model, and we march towards less is more concept. Our college makes the students job ready by providing Industry 4.0 ready curriculum, which imparts the 21st century skills. Project-based learning integrated with subjects improves the student skill set and makes our learners to be the best, which is the motto of our college. The Department of EC was established in the year 2001. Our vision is to develop the department into a state-of-art with center of excellence in electronics and communication engineering education on par with global standards. The Department of EC has well-experienced faculty of proven ability and diverse specialization. The faculty actively involve themselves in research in the fields of robotics, VLSI, MEMS, image processing, and embedded systems. I would now like to introduce the guest of our day. Dr. G. Pavitra completed her MD in acupuncture from the Open International University for Complementary Medicine, Colombo, in 2012, followed by which she did her MSc Psychology from University of Madras in the year 2015. She has served as a medical officer in Kerala Ayurveda Limited, Thiruvanmiyur, and assistant medical officer in Vrita Ayurvedic Center, Adyar. She was a recipient of the Ayurveda Jivaka Award by Himalaya Drug Company during her bachelor's degree in Ayurveda medicine and surgery. Dr. G. Pavitra has presented various papers and speeches on topics related to Ayurveda and lifestyle. Being an ardent writer as well as reader, she has written articles on Ayurveda and also reviewed various Tamil literatures and English classics. Dr. G. Pavitra currently serves as the Ayurvedic consultant in Maharishi Ayurveda Pratisthana, Shetpet. We are very happy to have you with us today, ma'am. You may please take over the session now.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to one and all. It's an honor to be a part of this webinar series conducted by Savita Engineering College. I sincerely thank Dr. Srijita S. Nath and Dr. Karnakaran, HOD of ECA Department of Savita College. I also thank Pushpa ma'am for encouraging me to do this. I'm honored. Thank you so much. Let's talk about today's topic. We are all stuck in this unfortunate situation now, this fear of panic in this time of COVID-19. But amidst all the negative and scary information we are bombarded with, we also got a string of hope that this disease doesn't affect people with strong immunity. It was so hopeful that we started following so many remedies that we hear of, all those simple to complicated medicines we start taking in, hoping that we won't be affected. But this immunity, this term immunity, is it a single entity? Does it work like a magic uh, and keep you safe from the virus if you're going to take ginger or turmeric, etc.? That's what I wanted to discuss today. I wanted to let you know that immunity is not just that, it is much more than that. So before that, we'll start with the definition of health according to Ayurveda. Ayurveda has given a wonderful definition for health. Samadosha, Samagni, Samadhatu, Malakriya, Prasanna Atmendriya Manaha, Swastha Iti Abhidiyati. The balanced state of three doshas, seven dhatus, Agni, excretory system, and manas and sense organs. The balanced state of all these factors are considered health. What are three doshas? You must be familiar with the term Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. It is a very common term used in day-to-day life. These are the three factors that are present in our body. They perform various functions in the body. They have the tendency to either increase or decrease based on the food or any activities we do. So these are the three factors. They perform all the functions in the body. So when they are in balance, it is termed as health. If they are in imbalance, it is disease. And seven dhatus, or the seven body tissues, will be learning about it more in detail later. So these are the seven body tissues. They make up the whole body and they give stability to the body. And Sama Agni, that is, Agni is the digestive capacity of the body and also can be understood as a metabolism. Malakriya is the excretory activities, the proper expulsion of feces, urine, and also sweat. This also is considered as one of the parameters in assessing your health. Manas and Indriyas is your mind and sense organs. So we can understand that not only absence of disease is health, but a balanced state of all these factors are considered health. So what is immunity in Ayurveda? Immunity in Ayurveda is termed as Vyadhik Shamatvam. That is ability of the body to prevent the disease, prevent already developed disease, prevent the development of disease, or ability to resist already developed disease. So this ability is known as the Bala or your immunity, which is developed from Ojas. To understand how this Bala is formed, we have to know about the metabolism, that is Agni. Agni in Ayurveda is a collective term which is used to refer both your digestive capacity or any metabolic activities inside the body. So whatever food we are taking in, it is converted into energy, right? This conversion is possible only with the help of Agni. So if your Agni is not right, if it is improper, then it leads to improper digestion. And of course, if your food is not properly digested, the nutrients won't be formed properly. And this will in turn leads to improper development of tissues and finally diseases. So this is how Agni is given much importance. Ayurveda's basic principle is Sarve Rogaha Mandagna. Manda Agni, that is weakened Agni, is the causative factor of all the diseases. So only when we correct the Agni, we can, any treatment principle also for any disease, we start with the correcting Agni. Only then we go to the actual symptomatic treatment or disease treatment. So that is how important Agni is. So we can explain the metabolism in detail, how Agni plays a major role in formation of immunity or Agni or digestion. So food we are taking in is subjected to the digestive fire or Agni. It divides into nutrient part and the waste part. This nutrient part or the nourishment goes on to develop the first body tissue, that is body fluids. Again, this body tissue has its own Agni, which utilizes the nutrient part for its own growth and develops the nourishment, passes on the nourishment to the next body tissue, that is blood. Again, blood has its own Agni, which utilizes the nutrient for its own growth and passes on to the next succeeding tissue. So likewise, all the 7 body tissues, that is body fluids, blood, muscles, fat, bones, bone marrow, reproductive structures, all 7 body tissues are formed. The point to be noted here is, each body tissue, they form from the preceding body tissue, and it does, Agni is present in each and every level of the transformation from one tissue to the other. So when Agni at one point, if it is weakened, then the nourishment doesn't go to the succeeding body tissue. And also it happens in an order. So when one body tissue is deficient, becomes deficient, then the succeeding body tissues also doesn't get proper nourishment. So when all the 7 body tissues are formed, the nourishment, the collective nourishment, they go on to develop the ojas. And from ojas, bala or immunity is developed. So as we can see that nourishment has to go all these levels to attain the immunity, and also Agni plays a very major role in this metabolism to transformation to happen. I can explain this with a simple example. The common disease we come across in our life, that is obesity. How obesity is formed or obesity is happens is when food, when subjected to weakened Agni, then proper for poor formation of nourishment, stagnation at the level of fat tissue. We can see there are body fluids, blood, muscles, then comes a fat. So when the nourishment stops at the level of fat, then it gets accumulated and it leads to obesity. So when fat tissue is not formed properly, then the succeeding tissue bone also will be deficient. So that will lead to improper nourishment to the bones, leading to bone disorders, arthritis or low backache, etc. So when bone is not nourished properly, the succeeding tissue, reproductive tissue also gets improper nourishment. So that leads to reproductive disorders like PCOD, infertility, etc. You can see that one problem is not restricted to that particular organ or tissue. We can see if there is a manifestation of a disease, it is obvious that it has started from the digestion and it has passed through various levels to manifest in the certain level. So when we are treating the problem, then we have to look for all these factors, not just the symptomatic treatment. So next example we can see is hair fall. It is the commonest problem also. Each and every one of us will be facing this problem at one point of time in our life. Hair is considered as the waste product or byproduct during the bone metabolism. So it is when bone tissue is not properly nourished, then obviously the bone waste will also not be formed properly. That is why it leads to weakening of hair. So hair fall is not restricted to the scalp level alone. The problem starts from digestion only. So by now it is understood that how digestion is very much important or considered important in Ayurveda, and how why should we understand this mechanism is now it is the time of rage of developing this metabolic disorders. It is becoming very common. So if you are understanding this mechanism, we will know that it starts right from the digestion and it passes through various stages. And because of our improper diet or activities, we help help the body to develop certain disorders. And how correcting the digestion will help in smooth transformation of nourishment into immunity. And how immunity is formed is in 3 ways: Sahaja, Kalaja, and Yuktija. Sahaja is the immunity that is formed since our birth. That is, even at the time of conception, the healthy sperm and healthy ovum. When both are healthy, the bala of the embryo form will also be healthy. So that is a type of immunity we gain since our birth. Kalaja is the favorable age or season. Favorable age meaning if the young age group or the kids and old age people are they more susceptible to any kind of infection when compared to youth. So that is the kind of immunity we gain from Kalaja immunity. Season also, one particular season will be more susceptible to more infection. Yuktija is the one which we obtain from our day-to-day diet or exercise or regimen, or that which we have control over. First, Sahaja and Kalaja, we don't have control over them, but Yuktija immunity, we can alter it. What are
Excuse
the
me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you hold your mic a little bit closer, ma'am? Your volume is a little low.
Sure, ma'am. Now.
Yes, ma'am, that's fine. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So coming to the diet, Ayurveda emphasis more on diet. That is, eating is not considered as a day-to-day activity. We are what we eat. So it emphasizes on how to eat, what to eat, and there are so many criteria or parameters they are given before that we should consider before we eat. So first one is the based on constitution. Ayurveda believes that each and every individual they differ based on the dominance of dosha levels, because as we have mentioned earlier, everyone has three doshas in their body performing various activities controlling the body functions. So each and every individual differ based on the predominance of one or two particular doshas. Mostly it will be two doshas. So some people will be dominant of Vata Pitta, some people will be Pitta Kapha, like that. So based on that, our diet will also differ. So one food that is healthy for one person might not be so for another person. So we have to decide the diet based on our constitution or body type. Next is accustomed food. Whatever food we are used to eating since birth, that is healthy for us. That is our staple food. So I'm used to eating white rice. If I'm given red rice suddenly, all of a sudden one day, when I'm taking it, I might feel some discomfort in my digestion also. If I'm going to continue that, I'm not used to taking it, and my digestion obviously is not allowing it. But if I continue to eat the same, then eventually my digestion will get affected. So that is what is accustomed food. Next is contradictory food. Contradictory food is mostly we'll be doing without realizing it. We'll be having it two foods with two different properties, like milk and seafood, milk and curd, and hot and cold items. We have the habit of having hot halwa with cold ice cream nowadays. Those things are not good for your digestion. Still we take it. Sometimes it gives immediate symptoms like food poisoning. Sometimes if you are taking it regularly, then gradually it acts as a slow poisoning and it will lead to diseases later, and we won't be knowing also what caused the uh, problem with the digestion. Processing also has a certain effect on the diet. Whichever process you're using, it brings about a different change in the body. Like heating is a process, cold water has different property and hot water has different property. Likewise, churning is a process. Curd has one property and buttermilk has another property. So likewise, processing also will have different effect on the digestion and in health. Quantity of the food, we all know overeating or not eating properly both have their consequences. Ayurveda says that one third of the stomach has to be filled with the solids, one third for the water, and one third has to be left empty for better assimilation of the nutrition. Order of food intake also, it also has its own effect. First we have to start with heavily digestible food item or sweet taste, because when we are hungry, our digestive capacity will be more. So when we are taking heavily digestible food, it will be easily digested. Then followed with salt and spice, and end it with astringent and bitter taste. That's why we used to take buttermilk in the end and sweet in the beginning of the meal. But nowadays we have reversed that also. We started to take sweet in the end as a dessert, which is absolutely wrong. And if you are going to continue the same regularly or frequently for long time, it will obviously affect your digestion. Hunger cues. It is a very simple but very effective rule. Eat when you're hungry and don't eat when you're not. It is very simple, but sometimes we eat based on our timings or based on the leftover food or so on. So it's better you eat when you're hungry. That is the best way to keep your digestive capacity safe. And water intake, there are certain rules that you have to follow during a water intake also. Taking lots of water before the meal or at the end of the meal will hamper the Agni. It will affect the digestion, leading to increased kapha or eventually obesity. Taking warm water in sips in between the meals will aid in better digestion. Next is food favoring our mind. Food is not considered as only for body growth. It also affects our mind more than we think. So just like how three doshas are there, there are three gunas in our mind: the sattva, rajas, and tamas. These three gunas, they have the tendency to get altered based on our food habits. Example, if we are used to taking more spice regularly for long time, then our rajas dosha will increase in our mind, leading to more anger, rage, restlessness, agitation, etc. So same way, if you are taking lots of heavy food or sweet taste more, or junk foods more, then it will lead to tamas dosha to increase, and it will cause this lethargy, sluggishness, or non-initiation to do anything. So food, it also affects our mind. So we have to be mindful in eat what we are eating. So why diet is important? Improper diet leads to less digestion, in turn less nourishment, and in turn less immunity. And coming to the lifestyle, we all know exercise. Exercise, it reduces the secretion of stress hormones in the body. So when we are doing the exercise regularly, it will increase the metabolism. So in turn, all the nourishment will be reaching all the seven tissues, and it improves the digestion and immune. There will be increase in the immunity. Sleep, proper sleep on timely sleep will balance all the doshas and body tissues. If you are sleeping less, loss of sleep will increase vata dosha. So vata dosha will have an effect on both body and mind. In body, if you are continuously not sleeping properly, it will lead to a constipation problem and pain related disorders, neurological disorders, and even gastric issues like gas problems, etc. If in the mind, if we are continuously not sleeping, it leads to increase in rajas dosha. So restlessness, less alertness, concentration deficit problems, all those things will happen, and eventually mental disorders. Excess sleep is also not right, and day sleep especially. Ayurveda says day sleep or excess sleep will increase kapha and lead to obesity problems. Next comes a regimen. There is a concept of dinacharya and rutucharya explained in Ayurveda, that is the daily regimen or seasonal regimen. There are certain activities that you have to follow on a daily basis to maintain the health or maintain the balance in the body. Like the dinacharya, it includes even simple activities like waking up early in the Brahma Muhurta, doing regular brushing, excretion, uh, exercise, bath, oil massage. These are very simple things that we have to follow regularly. These may seem very simple, but they are considered very much important in maintaining the balance in the body. Why do we have to follow regimen? Is following a routine will help in fixing up your biological clock in the body, so that your body will be attuned to your activities or daily regimen, so that it will be prepared in doing all the functions, and it will be regular. All the body functions will be regular and right, leading to proper health and immunity. Next comes the habits. Habits include all the habits that are not conducive to your health, like alcohol, smoking, any substance abuse, and nowadays we can also include phone addiction. Mental health. So, mental health is considered very important nowadays, because the very common word we use in all age groups is stress. Stress, as such, is perceived and interpreted by manas. This concept of manas or mind is explained in detail in Ayurveda. Manas is considered as a victim of stress because it is the one which does the perception and interpretation of things. For example, let's take two examples now. When two boys are going for an exam, one kid is tensed or more scared of the exam, and the other one is relaxed. Exam is common for both, but how they perceive it differs. This perceiving is done by the manas. And we stamp a rope, we don't get scared thinking, we get scared thinking of it as a snake. And we stamp a snake and we don't get scared thinking of it as a rope. This happen, the interpreting, this also is done by the manas only. So, since manas is considered as the victim of stress, we have to understand manas before understanding stress. So, next, trigunas of manas, as I've mentioned before, just like how three doshas, vata, pitta, and kapha, they control the activities of the body. There are three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas. They control the actions of mind. What is sattvam is? It is a positive state, that is balanced state. It is if sattvam is present more, then it leads to intelligence, confidence, positive thoughts, motivation, spiritual inclination. If rajas is more, rajas is considered as a source of activity, if you a source of initiation. If you want to do something, your mind has to be initiated to do it. That is the quality of rajas. That is what rajas does in the mind. So it can be considered as neutral state. It is necessary for a to a certain level, but when it gets increased more, then it leads to negative emotions like anger, rage, violence, hatred, etc. Next is the tamas. Tamas is said to be source of inactivity. So when tamas is more, you won't be initiated to do anything. It is a negative state. When it is increased more, it leads to laziness, lethargy, sluggishness, or ignorance, etc. So why do we have to understand this? Why do we have to understand the three gunas of manas? Because Ayurveda believes that seat of the disease, any disease is both body and mind. Shariram sattvam samya vyadhinam ashriya matah. So disease of the seat of the disease is always both body and mind. Whenever, because of certain factors, if your body is affected, eventually your mind will also get affected. It is vice versa. If your mind is affected first, then it will affect your body also later. So that is why any disease nowadays, after a certain point of time, they become psychosomatic, that is affecting both body and mind. So, how it happens, how both body and mind are interlinked. This is how Vata is connected with Rajas, Pitta is related with Rajas and Sattva, and Kapha with Tamas. So, for whatever causative factors, if Vata dosha gets increased, it will increase the Rajas dosha of Manas also. So, example, if you are not sleeping for long time, if you are having insomnia, then it will increase Vata. In turn, it will increase Rajas. In turn, it will lead to irritability or less concentration. Similarly, for whatever reasons, if your Rajas dosha is increased, it will increase your Vata, leading to loss of sleep. So all these are interconnected. Why mental disorders happen? What are the causative factors? So weak mind, alpa sattva, they say weak mind is what we get at the time of our birth. What few people by nature they have weak mind, so they are more susceptible to mental disorders. Next is our food and activities. As I've told you before, whatever food we take or whatever activities we do, that will affect our body doshas and mano doshas. So excessive spice will increase rajas, increased sleep will increase tamas, increased anger will increase rajas, and so on. So these also one of the causative factors. And negative emotions, too much of negative emotions like hatred, revenge, greed, jealousy, grief, etc. They all these will, for continuous period of time, it will cause any mental disorder. Prajna Paradha is the very wonderful concept explained in Ayurveda. It is the intellectual mistake. That is, whatever the mistake we do it knowingly for our own pleasure. That is most of the times we do that only. We know what is the consequence of the food we take or the action we do or anything, but still we tend to do it because for our own selfish reasons. So this is happens because of hampering of intelligence, willpower, and memory. So imagine what will happen if your factors like intelligence, willpower, and memory of your mind getting affected for long time. It will eventually lead to deficit problem solving or decision making. It will affect everything. It will eventually it will end up in mental disorders. So this is the concept of prajna parada. All bad habits or any non-conducive habits we develop, it is because of our prajna parada or mistake at the level of our intellect. Next comes the stress. It is the most commonest thing we experience now. So what happens when you are in stress? What is a stress? Stress is can be considered as a reflex response. That is, when something unusual or something different happens outside our body tries to create a balance inside. So that is the hemostasis. That is the tendency of the body. That is how our body is made. So stress can also be taken as a reflex response. When something triggers the body to create an imbalance in the body, either physically or mentally, the body tries to get adapt to that change. So that is what we called as stress. If we have to have stress to a certain level, because it only acts as a motivator to achieve something, to reach somewhere. But when it goes beyond certain level, when it goes beyond our ability to handle it, when it affects our day-to-day life, when it starts affecting our health, then it becomes negative. So what happens in our body when we undergo a stress means, stress it goes through certain stages in the body. First, when our brain realizes the stress, it starts preparing the body to undergo few response. What happens? Flight or fright or freeze. Flight or fright is where the body will start preparing itself to either fight against the stressor or run away from the stressor. This is where freeze is where the inability of the body to move. The body doesn't know what to do and we just freeze. During this response, our endocrine glands, adrenal gland, it will start producing the stress hormones like adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol, aldosterone, though all those hormones. What they do is they slow down the metabolism, they slow down all the bodily functions, and it just prepare the body or help the body to fight against the stress. This is where our digestion gets reduced, our heart rate, respiratory rate, or BP, they all increase. And since all the metabolic activities they slow down, the immune response is also slows. So when the stress gets resolved, then all this becomes normal, they come back to the normal. But if we continue to experience, continue to get exposed to the stress, then the body goes to the next stage, that is the resistance stage, where the body hormonal changes they keep happening inside the body. The body is still trying to get adapt to the change. This is where the symptoms won't be much visible, but the bodily changes they keep happening. Okay, now if you have resolved the stress, then again the body will slowly heal itself back to the normal. But when you are exposed to stress in the same way, then it goes on to the next stage called exhaustion stage, where the body gets tired. It doesn't know how to handle the stress anymore. This is where the stress induced diseases start happening. So all the stress related changes are still happening inside the body, like slow metabolism, reduced digestion, and reduced immune response. So when you're continuously under stress, then it will finally lead to reduced immune response. Stress can be acute, like if you're going in a or if you're stuck in a traffic jam, if you're going for an interview, those stress are very short lived, they can be resolved soon. But there can be stress because of some natural calamities. It may drag along, but it may come to an end at one point. And chronic stress is like, it may not seem to end at all for very long time. And the distant past, because of some kind of childhood abuse or something that had happened in our childhood, that stress will have an impact all over our adult life. So when you're continuously under stress, all these metabolic activities, they get affected, and you will be subjected to stress induced disease and of course reduced immune system. So now that we have established that immunity is collective of all your diet, exercise, lifestyle, and mental health, let's see how to improve it. So first, diet, and we have already mentioned the few factors before, like eating when you are hungry and avoiding contradictory foods, and taking accustomed foods and so on. So all those factors you have to keep in mind for a proper diet and proper nourishment. And next is digestion. You have to remember that there is no one particular magical potion for raising your immunity overnight. It cannot happen that way. The key is to improve your digestion, so that whatever food you are taking in, the nutrients that they are properly formed, and they are getting properly absorbed and assimilated inside your body. Your body has to get the complete nourishment from the food we take. That is possible only when the digestion is good. So now we have so many remedies. Follow we hear of like ginger, pepper, cinnamon, garlic, and so on. You can see all these ingredients, cumin, all these are the ones that improve your digestion only. So that is how it works. It doesn't happen overnight. And balanced diet, we have heard of arusuve, all the 6 days. We have to incorporate all the 6 days in our diet in a balanced way. And also uh, all diet like carbohydrate, protein, fat, you have to incorporate everything in a balanced way. You should not avoid any one particular food for the reason of weight loss or any other reason, because we may lose out on the nutrition. There are herbs specifically which are said to be the immunity enhancers. These are very less number of herbs that are mentioned, common herbs, and we have to understand that these herbs, again, they have to be taken continuously for a long time and should be a part of your regular dietary routine, not as a magical medicine for a few days just for the sake of raising your immunity when you're exposed to a certain disease or infection. The herbs like moringa, ashwagandha, tulasi, neem, triphala, ginger, garlic, cinnamon, turmeric, guduchi, black cumin, etc. There are certain doubts revolving around the dietary habits of lifestyle disorders. For diabetes, the main thing we have to remember is understand the glycemic index of the foods. What is glycemic index is? It is a measure of how quickly your blood sugar levels rise after taking a food. So if you're taking a food with high glycemic index, the blood sugar levels rise immediately or quickly. And food with low glycemic index, they help in reducing the blood sugar levels. So incorporate, you have to understand the GI of food. So incorporate all the grains and pulses. There is a belief that we have to take wheat more instead of rice to reduce your blood sugar levels. All most of the grains and pulses like rice, wheat, even millets, bajra, ragi, they all are carbohydrate rich foods only, but they differ in terms of the glycemic index, fiber content, and nutritive value. So instead of avoiding one particular food and taking more of one particular food, it is best to incorporate all of them in your regular diet, so that you get the nourishment. You don't miss out on nutrition from one particular grain. And next is if the dividing the meals or portion control or avoiding the diet totally, all these are not advisable according to Ayurveda. We believe only in eat for your hunger and not for taste. If you're eating when you're hungry, then the food will properly digested and it will not lead to any kind of disorders. So this is the very important point, and we don't believe in avoiding particular item or skipping a meal just to reduce your blood sugar levels. And don't avoid any fruits and vegetables, because most of the fruits except for melons, banana, and dates, most of them have low glycemic index only. So instead of avoiding fruits totally, you can take all fruits and vegetables in moderation, so that you don't miss out on the nutrition. Know your sweetness. uh, Honey, sugar, and jaggery, they all have very high glycemic index, but palm sugar and palm jaggery have low glycemic index. So if at all you have sugar cravings or sweet cravings, you can go for homemade sweets made of palm jaggery instead of anything else, so that you can satisfy both your blood sugar levels and your sweet tooth also. But again, this has to be in moderation only. Next is thyroid imbalance. So, thyroid imbalance is the consequence of slow metabolism only. So, it because of sluggish metabolism only, thyroid hormone secretion is affected, and because of improper thyroid hormone secretion, metabolism gets affected. So, it is like a cycle. So, key is to have foods that improve the metabolism and avoid any heavy foods that slows down the metabolism, like excessive sweet foods and fatty foods or empty calories or junk foods. All those will slow down the metabolism. Next is iodine rich foods, because iodine is necessary for the thyroid gland to utilize the for production of thyroxine hormone. So taking iodine rich foods like dairy products and seafood, eggs, potatoes, all these will help. Few people say that we have to avoid cruciferous vegetables like cabbage or cauliflower, etc. These things will hamper the iodine utilization only. So that too only if you are taking in more amount. If you are cooking it properly and taking it in less frequency and less amount, it wouldn't harm much. For obesity, it is always wise to follow a sustainable way, that is a way that you can follow for a very long time, preferably long time. Don't go for any shortcuts. Don't avoid any particular food for the sake of reducing your weight. Any dieting plan, new dieting plan, if taking up one particular diet plan, you have to uh, consult a proper dietitian or a physician, so that you can choose the right one that is suitable for your body, and also for the nourishment you require for the development of the body tissues and immunity. And there is no magical potion that will help in a spot reduction, because there are lots of options. The patients, they always ask me whether they can take this one or that one they see in YouTube or something to for reducing the belly fat in particular, or thigh fat. There is no such thing. Only way we can achieve that is by doing certain spot reduction exercises only. And most of the time, all these kashayams or any portion they explain, it is like improving metabolism types or improving the digestion types only. It will not have the same effect for each and every individual, because we know that every individual is different. So the kashayam will have different effect on different people. So it will not work similarly for everyone. So we have to keep that in mind before starting a diet plan or any kashayams or medicines that is explained. And ghee is not totally bad. Ghee is considered as most important thing in Ayurveda. Ghee is it is termed as thousand. It is a possessor of thousand qualities, and it performs thousand actions when used wisely. So this is how the shloka explains ghee. Ghee has very good effect on digestion. It improves your digestion, and also technically it has low smoke point, and it can be used for cooking also. It will not increase your fat unless you're taking it without melting or in the sweets or in excess quantity. Always take ghee with warm water. It will help in giving proper intelligence, complexion. So many properties are there. So don't avoid ghee just for the sake of reducing weight. Next is hair fall, the universal problem. Oh, hair fall is not restricted to scalp level alone. So we know that so many factors are to be considered if a person is complaining of hair fall. So after everything, after checking out all the other boxes, we come to diet where specific diet rich of protein, antioxidants, vitamin C, D, and B5 beta carotene. All this will help in improving your hair fall. So when we talk about this remedies, home remedies for specific diseases or remedies for general improving health also, we have to understand there are a few stages of disease like healthy stage, unhealthy stage, disease stage, and stage of complication. When we are healthy, whatever remedies we follow, they act as a prevention. They help in avoiding the diseases. In unhealthy stage, they may or may not act as a curative, but it may stop or reduce the progression of the disease. But in disease stage or the stage of complication, we have to take proper treatment and medicines after consulting a doctor, because these remedies alone will not help in curing the problem. So before taking any remedy, we have to understand at what stage we are in, whether we are healthy or unhealthy stage, or we have crossed that stage so that we need a professional help. So next is sleep. To improve sleeplessness, we have to understand that sleeplessness can be because of two reasons. One is based on the diseases, whatever underlying disease we have. Few people will be suffering from mental disorders like depression or anxiety, any disorders. Because of that, they might be having sleeplessness. Few people with physical disorders also, because of pain or any other discomfort, they will be having trouble in sleeping. The other kind is habituation. Sometimes people nowadays they're working late. They work in shifts, sometimes day shift and sometimes night shifts. And few people have the habit of screen addiction like TV or phone. And students will be having the habit of studying late. So when all these things we do it for a very long time, it becomes a habit and we suffer from sleeplessness later. So Ayurveda says that sleeplessness leads to increased vata, or uh, vice versa. Increased vata also causes sleeplessness. So mostly correcting or getting better sleep is by reducing your vata dosha. How to do that is the common thing we can do is taking oil bath regularly, at least weekly, twice from uh, head to toe. Oil bath regularly and giving warm oil massage in your soles regularly, that is daily. And applying hair packs that are very coolant on your scalp regularly. All these will reduce, calm your mind, and also will increase the kapha so that your body gets proper sleep. And correcting the biological clock is for those who are habituated to sleep late in the night. Fix up a routine. They have to fix a time for sleep, and they have to stop all the stimulating activities like TV, mobile, or anything, and they just have to sleep at one particular time daily, so that the internal biological clock inside will get attuned to that habit, and slowly they will start sleeping at the right time. So not every time all these remedies will work. When it goes beyond our ability to correct it, it is better we go for a professional help, doctors or any other treatments as such, to get sleep. And for the underlying diseases, because of any diseases, if they are not getting sleep, It's better we cure the disease, only then the other complications will get cured. And there are certain mind calming herbs we can take, like Shankapushpi, Brahmi, Vacha, Sarpagandha. These herbs they can boil with milk and they take it in the bedtime. These things also they can do it regularly, not as a medicine but as a regular routine they can have before bedtime for inducing good sleep. Coming to exercise, Ayurveda believes that exercise has to be done to one's capacity only. So, not same exercise, same amount of exercise, and same duration is necessary for all. Not everybody can handle the same amount of exercise. Each body is different, and so the capability also differs. It's better we choose any activity, physical activity that will suit your body, suit your interest, and also work timings. That is also more important, only then we can continue it. And choose your favorite activity, whichever you have more interest. It can be anything, starting from walking, jogging, dancing, any swimming, any activity that is more favorable to your mind. That is why, because that only will act as a motivator for you to continue for long time, which is also very important. And don't stress on the duration of the exercise, because if you're stressing on if you're fixing up some 45 minutes or half an hour, and if your body is not able to achieve the target, we become demotivated, we become upset or exhausted very soon. So it's better we listen to the body and just see how body gets adapted to the new exercise we have started, and look for gradual progress. The main thing is to be consistent, to be regular, and slowly improve your metabolism and in turn immunity. It should not be stressful to you to follow any particular exercise. That is the keynote here. And habits, again, if there are any habits that are not conducive to your lifestyle, your family, or your health, we have to put conscious effort. This is where the term that Pragya Parada I have explained earlier, the intellectual mistake. Sometimes, most of the times, the bad habits people follow, it is they know the consequences of what they are doing. Still, uh, sometimes people try to leave it. Sometimes they are not. They don't want to. So this is where we have to put a conscious effort to stop what are the habits that we are following that are affecting our metabolism. So sometimes it is not possible for us to take any step, or we face lots of failure also. So at that time it is better we seek professional help for any kind of addiction. To improve your mental health, there is a type of chikitsa, type of therapy mentioned in Ayurveda called Sattva Vijayas Chikitsa, so Daiva Vyapashraya Chikitsa, where they say spiritual measures to improve the quality of your mind, improve the quality of sattva by chanting mantras or chanting shlokas, even places of worship. They have the tendency to remove the negativity from your mind and improve the mental strength and gives positivity. So this can also be included in developing your mental health. The other things are yoga. As we know, Chitta Vriddhi Nirodha, it channelizes the wavering mind. It is the best form of exercise that help both mind and body if you're doing it right and if you're doing it regularly. Nowadays, there is a concept of therapeutic yoga also, where yoga asanas are taught according to your particular disease. So we can follow that. And meditation, any form of meditation, it has a tendency to decrease the secretion of stress hormones. It reduces our heart rate, BP, and respiratory rate, decreases fatigue, increases concentration, alertness, and emotional stability. It improves our metabolism, so improves our immunity as well if we are doing it regularly. And productive hobbies and new skill, have a productive hobby that will make us feel more satisfied about ourselves, and Learning a new skill also will keep our mind alert and fresh, and it builds up our self esteem. It will help us in removing the negativity from the mind also. It helps in removing the sluggishness in the mind. Having a perfect work life balance, because happy family equals happy mind, which is very important nowadays. Having a perfect work life balance and taking a time out. So if you are feeling burned out, it high time we take a time out for ourselves and don't feel guilty about it, especially for the parents who channelizes most of their energy towards their children. And over a period of time they get exhausted and tired and take out the frustration, focus all their frustration over the children. So that's how it happens nowadays. It's better we take a time out for ourselves, take care of our own interest and health, and refresh ourselves from monotony. Quality time with friends and family, that is also very important in keeping ourselves sane and healthy. So even despite doing all these things, if we still feel that we have had enough, it is better to seek help. Take a first having therapy or treatments, like Ayurveda also has therapy named Panchakarma treatments, which help in rejuvenating both body and mind. And there are alternative treatments also, like pranic healing, acupuncture. There are so many other treatments also that help in focusing on mental health. And professional counseling, where they help us sort out our problems. They also uh, walk us through our struggles through counseling, which is very helpful in case of excessive stress or anxiety or depression. Next, psychiatric treatments also, if there is need, don't hesitate to go for a psychiatric treatment. It is high time we stop this taboo around this mental illness, because whoever, if we see a person with a mental illness, they are either labeled or they are punished for something that they don't have control of. So whenever we see someone close to us who isn't keeping emotionally well, it is better uh, we be there for them, uh, empathize with them, and help them seek proper right form of treatment. So now we have seen that immunity is not just a single thing, it is a combination of your diet, lifestyle, and also mental health. It is better we constantly work on achieving it. There is a concept of Sukhayu in Ayurveda, where a life where all health and happiness is possible. So our ultimate aim should be to attain this Sukhayu. I wish you all a Sukhayu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
That was really a wonderful session, and we convey our heartfelt thanks to you for sharing your valuable knowledge with us. So, we have got a few questions from the participants, ma'am. Shall we proceed with that?
Yes, sure, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. The first question that we've got: how to overcome hypothyroidism without any medicine? It is known that thyroid gland stops working due to stress. How to overcome it and make the gland produce correct level of hormones?
I think I've explained about a little bit about it in the speech itself. Hypothyroid, you don't have to mention it as a disease. It is actually a disorder where the gland doesn't stop producing the hormone, it reduces the production. If it is stopping the production, then it becomes a disease. We have to see the underlying problem also. So when it is in the level of disorder, you can, as I've already told you, you can go for the measures that to improve your metabolism, whatever I've told about the diet or exercise and even yoga. After that, even after trying it out for few days, few months or so, if you're still having some less amount of more TSH or less amount of hormones, then you have to go for medication only. But there are certain home remedies also that you can follow. In acupuncture, can I share the screen? Can I see
Yes,
my
ma'am, sure. It is
how?
visible, ma'am.
No, I can I see myself?
Your video is visible to us, ma'am, actually.
Okay. So in acupuncture, there is wing like seed therapy explained for thyroid, developing, improving your thyroxine production. Just in the middle part of your thumb, right here, I hope you can see my, is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, it is
Yes.
visible.
So this part of the thumb, they advise paste pepper using a micropore tape. The tape will be available in the medical shops, which we use for wound covering also. That tape, using that tape, you just paste the pepper in this area after massaging it well. You can do this in the bedtime before sleeping for 1 month or so regularly, and you can this area after massaging for 1 minute or so, you tape this pepper for 1 month and check the results after a month. Along with this, you follow proper diet and exercise also. Those I have mentioned before. If at all it is not working, then we have to go for medication only. Before the not necessarily hormone supplements, even herbal medicines are available. But before that, you try yoga and exercise along with proper diet and correcting your digestion. And this remedy, you can see a change.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for that answer. The next question that we have: when I get angry or in stress, my hands are shivering and I have heavy breathing. How can I overcome that?
It is a classical example of anxiety attack. You're just experiencing anxiety attack, and that is just a reflex response. That is how the body is uh, responding for the whatever the situation you're in. That is how your body is reacting. So that is not considered as abnormal. It is, as I said, most of our mental makeup is different. Each of us have a different mental setup to experience certain situation or emotions. So if you're handling it that way, it is okay. Only thing is it shouldn't continue for too long. If you're able to if you're able to come out of it bit sooner, then it is fine. But best thing to do is divert you from the situation, remove you from the situation as such, and then wait for the body to relax. You divert yourself. Even after doing this, even after removing from the stressor, if you're not able to reduce, then you have to seek for other help. But it is not wrong. It's not wrong, or it is not considered as a disease as such. It is
Yes, ma'am.
just how your body is reacting to that situation. It is okay.
Thank you very much, ma'am. The next question that we have: can you suggest any specific exercises for reducing diabetes?
No, there is no one particular exercise for reducing it. Now, as I told you, any form of physical activity will help you in developing the metabolism. You have to search for the one which suit your body or which suit your capability of doing. Not everyone can do jogging. Not everyone can do jump rope. Some people cannot even walk fastly or swiftly. But we say that you have to walk swiftly with two hands, like all those things is not necessary. Just do one particular activity which you can follow for long, and it's better you stick to one particular time in the day. If you're doing it 6 o'clock in the morning today, you continue the same for same daily, because that is how your biological clock is altered, and your body will understand that okay, this is the time they are going to walk, so let me prepare. So that is how, if you're continuing for a long time, eventually your metabolism will increase. Not just walking, any kind of exercise, yoga or whichever is suitable for you. There is no one particular for improving the uh, insulin levels in the body.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Shall we go for two more questions, ma'am? Yes, ma'am. The next question that we have: how much time of sleep is required for a normal person?
It depends upon how much physical activity we do throughout the day. It's ideally 8 hours of sleep is necessary, but 1 or 2 hours less or more is fine. But the you have the physical exercise we do throughout the day. If we are in the profession where we don't have to move much, we sit for a long period of time. We can reduce the amount of sleep also, provided your mental health is also, your mind gets refreshed sometimes, because sometimes if your mind is also exhausted too much and your body is also exhausted too much, then it will lead to disorder. But if your work involves too much of moving or too much of physical strain, then you need adequate amount of sleep to balance the doshas. I hope you understand the difference.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. The next question that we have, how to overcome varicose problem?
Varicose problems, the calf muscles are said to be the second heart of the body. It is the one which pumps the blood away from the uh, uh, gravitational force. It has to pump the blood from downwards to upwards. So when we are standing for very long time, if we are not if the muscles, the calf muscles and the muscles surrounding it is weak, then the pumping gets lower, and the blood is not pumped properly to to the direct upwards. So that is the reason why it gets stagnated downwards. The elasticity of the veins go down, and it leads to varicose veins. To overcome this, the main thing we have to do is strengthen the calf muscle. So you have to avoid putting the legs downwards for very long time, especially for the professions with teaching, the drivers, those who have to always hang the legs in the downwards for very long time, they only experience this problem. If we are going to work that way, continue work that way, then it is better we wear this stockings that we get in the medical shops. Whenever we are going to stand for very long time, even for cooking for more than 2 hours in the kitchen, standing in the kitchen for very long time, it is best to wear those stockings to avoid weakening of the calf muscles. Next thing we can do is doing walking regularly. It will increase it will also increase the tightness of the muscles, but we have to wear the stockings before walking. If you're not wearing the stockings, then it will again weaken the muscles and the problem will persist. It's better. Oil application also is advised in Ayurveda. The oil has to be applied from downwards to upwards continuously, and followed with fermentation. All these will improve the blood circulation and tighten the calf muscles. And if it is very much severe, then there are treatments also to get rid of it.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That was a great answer. One last question, ma'am. They have asked whether there's any medicine in Ayurveda for curing, like for COVID-19.
I think I'll get caught if I told you that. But the thing is, there is no mention of virus or bacteria in the Ayurvedic text. It is 1,000 years old or more than 1,000 years old, but we have been curing lots of viral infections and bacterial infection without antivirals or antibacterials. That is because we don't understand the disease based on virus or bacteria, but we understand based on doshas. So we have this text called Charaka Samhita in Ayurveda, which mentions that we don't even have to name the disease to cure them, because we don't have we see the disease based on dosha only. So even if you don't give me a name, but give me a group of symptoms and one individual, we can diagnose the problem based on the symptoms and the state of the doshas in their body, and how the patient presents themselves. So we can choose the herbs like that. So if the individual is coming without testing positive for COVID, but with the symptoms similar to that, we can prescribe medicines. So that is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to name the disease to cure them.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. That was a great session, and thank you for patiently answering all the questions asked by our participants.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity. Also, it's a privilege to be a part of this. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for taking your time and being available for us today, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Every end is just another beginning. We would like to announce that we have officially come to the end of our webinar series conducted by the Department of EC Savita Engineering College with a positive note that we need not just fight against corona, we can live against corona and live healthy amidst corona. We now have a short valedictory session, followed by which the feedback link will be posted in the chat box. We request the participants to kindly wait till the valedictory gets over. Every celebration is
Webinar
elegant.
Series Report. Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Savita Engineering College feels happy and proud in successfully organizing a 51 days webinar series program from 27th May 2020 till today with 53 webinar sessions. Altogether, we had 15,000 participants, and we hope our webinar series provided wonderful opportunities to school students, college students, faculty members, research scholars, and all other participants to enrich their knowledge in various fields. The program was organized with 3 different categories: alumni talks, technical session, and motivational session. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. With this positive quote, we started our webinar series. We had 13 motivational webinars presented by various motivational speakers. A good impression makes wonders. To prove this quote, our Savita Engineering College alumni students were honored as resource person under SEC-EC Alumni Impressions and shared their expertise by delivering 13 webinars in alumni talks with various topics. Continuing with that, we had 27 technical webinars and created a great platform to enhance their professionalism to all our participants. The series of domains which were highlighted are entrepreneurship, image processing, artificial intelligence, communication, data science, blockchain, robotics, Industry 4.0, game development, photography, technology in renewable energy, and medicine. Whatever we accomplish belongs to our entire group, a tribute to our combined effort. To make this true, with the support of Savita Management, our Principal Dr. R. Ramesh, our HOD Dr. Srijita S. Nath, and our faculties of Department of ECE and organizing team members have taken tremendous effort to make the event successful. Last but not the least, our active participants who gave us encouragement day by day. Thank you all for your wonderful cooperation. This is not the end. This is just a beginning.
A leader is someone who creates an event. Team members essentially bring life to it. I now request Ms. I. Nancy Catherine, Assistant Professor, Department of EC, to deliver the vote of thanks. Ma'am, please. Nancy, ma'am, over to you.
Take over. Good evening to one and all present here. Our SEC-EC webinar series is in fact a great journey with all of you since 27th May till on date. We are really proud to say that 53 webinars have been successfully held so far, and the long journey of this event has come to closure now. At this moment, we feel it is our ardent duty to thank each and everyone who made it possible in organizing this webinar series in an elegant and efficient manner. First and foremost, we solemnly remember in gratitude our management, principal, vice principal, various heads of the department for their free hand freedom and great support given to the entire EC webinar team. Secondly, we soulfully thank the Associate Dean of EC Department, Dr. Srijita S. Nath, and the overall coordinators of this webinar series, Dr. S. Praveen Kumar and Dr. S. Karnakaran, who were instrumental in arranging the renowned guest speakers and well-placed alumni of SEC who are settled globally. Of course, they were supportive for the design and strategy to schedule these webinars and provided effective coordinated efforts throughout the series. Thank you so much, ma'am and sirs. Next, we wholeheartedly thank the advisory team members, Dr. T. Shri Priya, Dr. A. Anita Juliet, and Ms. J. J. Lakshmi, who were the backbone of this webinar series from the beginning till the end and had given their inputs from various sources to meet out the arising challenges and for the smooth organizing of all these webinars. We also thank the registration team members, Ms. A. Hema Malini and Ms. K. Anita, who were influential in motivating the students and faculties to participate in these webinars. Their dedication and sincere efforts helped to have wonderful participation throughout this webinar series. Also, we remember with gratitude the design and promotion team members, Ms. C.T. Kalaivani, Mr. Vijay Designer, and Mr. Sudeep MRO, who prepared the posters creatively with innovation for each webinar and circulated largely through social media to promote this webinar for a greater participation. We also thank certificate team members, Mr. K. Arun Kumar and Ms. T. Archana, for the prompt preparation of various certificates issued to the participants and for their excellent distribution without any issues. We deeply thank Dr. T. Shri Priya, Dr. A. Anita Juliet, and Ms. J. J. Lakshmi, who are dynamic and shouldered the responsibilities during the times of challenges and difficulties. A special mention of thanks goes to the hosting team members, Dr. S. Karnakaran, Ms. K. Padmapriya, Ms. J.C. Elizabeth, Ms. S. Chitra, and myself, Ms. Nancy, who presented the whole series of webinars neatly and handled the technical issues very effectively. Indeed, their sincere efforts and teamwork went a long way for organizing these webinars without any hurdles. Finally, we thank from the bottom of our hearts the whole team of webinar series and all the faculties of EC department for their staunch teamwork and sincere dedication in bringing out this event to an enormous success. Last but not the least, we thank each and every participant who attended with great interest to gain knowledge and experience from these webinars and turned this event a memorable one, a milestone of success. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Without teachers, life would have no classes. To teach is to touch a life forever. Department of EC, Savita Engineering College, salutes the teachers and brings before you this short AV as a tribute to our teaching fraternity.
I'll set your screens on fire.
We salute.
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 A special mention to Dr. S. Karunakaran, Professor, Department of EC, and team for taking efforts in recognizing the efforts by teachers who are the pride of our nation. Our upcoming event is something much bigger. Department of EC, Center for Micro Nano Design and Fabrication, in association with IEEE, is organizing the 7th International Conference on Smart Structures and Systems ICSSS 2020 in a virtual mode July 23rd and 24th, 2020. We now present a short AV of our conference. We have officially come to the end of our webinar series. We thank all the participants for being an active and enthusiastic part of our beautiful journey of this webinar series. Stay home, stay safe, and stay healthy. The feedback link will now be posted in the Zoom chat box and YouTube live streaming page. I kindly request the participants to fill the feedback form with correct email ID. The link for feedback form and e-certificate will be posted in the Zoom chat box and the YouTube live streaming page. Kindly fill the form and receive your e-certificates through mail. The participants are requested to kindly fill the feedback form within 10 minutes after the session gets over. We would like to inform that you will receive your e-certificates through mail within 2 days after the session gets over. I repeat once again, kindly fill up the feedback form with the correct email IDs within 10 minutes after the session gets over. The participants will receive your e-certificate through the email within 2 days after the session gets over. Thank you very much for an active participation and bringing a great success to our webinar series. Stay home, stay safe, and stay healthy.